Welcome to our digital storytelling course. In this course, we're going to connect timeless storytelling principles with modern digital tools so people can create stories with structure, voice, meaning, and audience awareness. The focus for our first module is foundations. How does story structure work? What digital technology supports digital storytelling? How can we hone our personal voice for more authentic storytelling? Digital storytelling extends the human tradition. Story is transformation. It's not new storytelling, it's an ancient human storytelling carried through new tools, platforms, and media. Story comes before technology. The most important rule is simply story first, tools second. Technology can amplify a strong story, but it can't rescue a weak story. Stories are transformation. Stories are change. These 7 elements include point of view, dramatic questions, emotional content, voice, soundtrack, economy, and pacing. What is the hypothesis-driven design process that's going to help you to create digital stories? We research and we plan, we prototype and develop, we launch and review, and then we improve and iterate and begin the process all over again. It's a process of constant improvement. The 8-step story creation process starts with an idea and moves to research, scripting, storyboarding, creating media or gathering media, editing, sharing, and reflection. And again, the process starts all over again. Digital stories are made 3 times: in the script, the shoot, and the sequence. Essential takeaways from Module 1: structure, voice, emotion, audience awareness, and purpose. What's the focus for Module 2? Well, it's about structure, scripting, storyboarding, pacing, and audience experience. Pre-production is the work that turns ideas into good digital storytelling. You can focus on the sequence and order, the edit, the movement and the momentum, the tension and the stakes, and of course, the resolution and meaning. It's important to not lose sight of your North Star, your core message. The transformation and the core message should be at the center of your mind as you're planning and doing pre-production for your digital stories. You're going to ask first, what is the story really about? You want to strip away the surface and find the essential truth or the North Star. You want to focus on your core message. It's the central idea that the story communicates to the audience. And of course, you're going to focus on transformation, the change in character, perspective, or understanding that the story produces. The core message and transformation should guide every creative choice throughout the production. Story beats can build the narrative. What is the opening beat? What is the inciting beat? Ask yourself, what is the rising beat? What is the climax beat? What is the resolution beat? The script is the narrative blueprint. You want to be sure to read it aloud because it's a living document that functions to help you improve your visuals, your pacing, and your tone. What is the 2-column script method you'll be using in this course? Well, on one side, you have the visual, what the audience sees. On the other side, you have the audio. This includes voiceovers, SFX, music, whatever it is you're using to help bring that text alive. But it's not just the 2 columns that you're focused on. It's not just the word description. You're also creating a visual sequence called a storyboard. And in that storyboard, you have an image, you have timing, you have sounds, you have sequences, and you have notes that indicate what to do, how, when, where, so that you can follow that plan as you're actually in the production shoot phase of your recording. As you edit your storyboard, remember, every shot needs purpose. Shots should reveal, build, create, show, move forward. Remember, show, don't tell. What sort of questions should you be asking when you're creating your storyboard or you're looking to help someone else with their storyboard? Does it make sense? Are the transitions clear? Is the pacing right for the story? Is anything missing or unclear? Module 2, essential takeaway: storyboarding is the key to success. A script and storyboard clarify the story. It turns that story into planned media. It adjusts timing and crafts the audience experience. It gives you a chance to fix things before expensive production happens. How do you take a personal narrative and turn it into something meaningful? Well, you can start with significant moments. You can shape them into a sequence. You can reveal why they matter, and you can connect experience to insight. Language choice matters. Kenneth Burke is our famous rhetorical theorist who talks about how language selects, deflects, and reflects reality the same way your camera lens as a digital storytelling content creator selects, deflects, and reflects the parts that you want to tell. What you leave out is just as important as what you're actually selecting. There are lots of strategies to choose from, but one way to get started is to start small and reveal something larger. You can start with a single moment, an object, a mistake, or a conversation, and you can zoom into that one specific part, or you can zoom out from it, metaphorically and with your digital lens. Identity shapes narrative choices. Our culture, our place, our memory, our family, our language, and our beliefs, they all come together to create an identity that has an impact on how you tell your story, your personal story. Personal storytelling requires boundaries. You're allowed to protect parts of your life. Good storytelling is honest, but it doesn't require oversharing. And remember, constraints like this fuel creativity. It's important to represent other people with extreme care. Focus on how am I representing them in the most dignified way? How am I caring for their privacy? How am I obtaining consent? And how am I representing them fairly? Module 3, essential takeaway, personal storytelling begins with identity and lived experience. The strongest stories balance authentic voice, meaningful structure, thoughtful media, and ethical boundaries. Module 4 focuses on persuasion. We have rhetorical appeals, documentary strategies, factual accuracy, emotional engagement, and ethical influence. Persuasive digital storytelling is designed to influence. We move from attitudes, beliefs, values to action. Persuasion respects the audience. It uses truth, transparency, and timely care, whereas manipulation uses distortion, exploitation, or coercive pressures. Ethos, pathos, and logos guide design. Ethos is that trust. Pathos is the feeling. Logos is the reasoning. Persuasive stories need all three appeals. Emotion without evidence can feel manipulative. Evidence without emotion can feel forgettable. Monroe's Motivated Sequence. We start with attention before moving to need, solution, visualization, and action. Documentary techniques strengthen persuasion. Real people, real places, authentic interviews, and evidence that is backed up by science. Interviews can humanize abstract issues. Experts explain, witnesses testify, and impacted people can reveal the greater truth behind that story. Facts provide the backbone, emotion provides the meaning. This is understanding and care. Ethical representation is central. You want to ensure accuracy, dignity, and agency. Accuracy for your story that you're telling for yourself or for others, dignity for the people you're representing, and agency for the people you are representing fairly. What are our persuasive essential takeaways from Module 4? It's about trust, understanding, care, and action. The ethos, logos, pathos, and the motivational sequence of action. Module 5 focuses on multimodal and immersive storytelling. We'll focus on media choice, interactivity, agency, accessibility, and audience participation. Multimodal storytelling can reveal new points of view. It uses different modes to deepen perspective. But more media is not always better unless each mode serves that story. Choose modes based on your purpose for your story. Audio can invite a relational imagination as the listener constructs the world. Video shows action and emotion as the viewer witnesses the world. And games create agency through choice as the player shapes the world. Unified multimodal storytelling is coherent. It has a style, a theme, a purpose, and a world logic that fit together. Immersive storytelling changes the audience's position from observer to participant. Audiences have agency and their actions matter. We have understanding, emotion, direction, and relationship, all signified in the game world. Interactive stories need design choices that consider movement, consequence, self-expression, and discovery. Spatial storytelling uses environment as narrative. Space can reveal history, mood, conflict, and meaning. Think about the rooms, the objects, the architecture, and the pathways that participants will take as they explore the story world. Combine story, systems, and player action to produce meaning. Accessibility is narrative design. Consider captions, readable cues, inclusive design, and content warnings. The key takeaways from Module 5 are: consider experience design, the right mode, how to respect agency, and have meaningful participation in interactive worlds. Module 6 focuses on platform-aware storytelling. We're considering format, audience behavior, constraints, and platform cultures. Platform-aware storytelling adapts the story to the space. We're considering what is found, what is experienced, what's responded to, and how the space is part of the story. It's important to keep the core message stable in these kinds of interactive, more fluid worlds. Things that can change include the format and length, the tone and style, the platform-specific packaging, and the delivery method. Things that must stay stable include the purpose and intention, the ethical commitments, the identity and voice, and the core message. Constraints create more creativity. And platform creative constraints can include length, aspect ratio, autoplay being integrated, algorithms, of course, and character limits. One story can be pushed to multiple versions: a long video, short clip, portfolio page, thread, game, podcast. Consider platforms you haven't considered before and how you would adapt to those platforms to grow your story in different directions. Each format has a different job. Long form supports depth, short form needs immediate clarity, and micro content rewards compression in every sequence. Platform packaging shapes audience discovery. In YouTube, for example, we have the title, the description, the thumbnail, and the format, all creating a situation whether a video can be discovered or lost in the crowd. Analytics show audience behavior patterns, where people can drop off, what gets clicked and shared, and how content is discovered. Audience analytics cannot replace creative judgment, ethical purpose and intent, artistic and intrinsic value, and authentic human storytelling. Key takeaways from Module 6. It's about coherence and fidelity. Does the story maintain internal consistency, and does the story ring true to an audience? It's about the story, the invitation, the journey, and the landing.